Hi, my name is Naren Goodavali, and this is my research presentation on the perceptions and knowledge of artificial sweeteners among American high school students. So, sugar substitutes have been controversial since the invention of saccharin in 1879. Sugar substitutes, also known as non-nutritive sweeteners, or NNS for short, are food additives that provide a sweetness similar to the taste of sugar, but have significantly lower food energy levels than sugar. This makes them extremely low in calories, and they are often called lower calorie or zero calorie sweeteners. These are commonly found in sweet foods and beverages, like desserts, chewing gum, and sodas. Oftentimes, these sweeteners are used to help people lose weight or help people reach their dieting goals. Recently, they have come into much controversy with the classification of aspartame, one of the most commonly found sweeteners, as a possible carcinogen by the World Health Organization. This means that it can cause cancer, or it could cause cancer, more specifically a type of liver cancer. With this recent classification, the public has become even more divided amongst the issue, and people are worried about their daily Diet Coke intake. To stir up even more controversy regarding non-nutritive sweeteners, the Washington Post founded the trade group American Beverage, a trade and lobby group representing Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, and other companies, was paying influencer dietitians to, quote, use their social media accounts to help blunt the WHO's claims that aspartame, a mainstay of Diet Coke and other sodas, is ineffective for weight loss and possibly carcinogenic. They were paid undisclosed amounts to make at least 35 posts on TikTok or Instagram to reassure people that aspartame is safe despite the ruling by the WHO. This new strategy of enlisting people with millions of followers to talk nutrition advice mainly reaches a Generation Z audience. I can attest to this, as I have personally seen content on my social media feeds from both sides of the spectrum. People demonizing NNS, as well as people attesting to their harmlessness. This paper aims to explore how American high school students perceive and how much they know about NNS. Therefore, the research questions that will be guiding this study are: how do male American high school students perceive artificial sweeteners, and how knowledgeable are they about these topics? I chose this question as they were taken from my parent study, which I will get more into later. So, a review of the current literature surrounding NNS found that manufacturers have extensively marketed them to convince consumers that they suppress hunger and appetite, leading to beneficial effects of body weight and cardiometabolic profile, and are consumed by both lean and obese alike. The main conclusion of this review was that there needs to be more research done surrounding the safety of NNS, and that it is the duty of healthcare providers to stay up to date and provide accurate information regarding these sweeteners due to their increasing prevalence. Data by researcher Liu and others found that, in a meta-analysis, found that NNS caused no increase in cancer in their 2021 study, but they also agree that there needs to be more research surrounding the topic. However, another meta-analysis of the current literature regarding NNS's health effects that included 372 studies in their scoping review found that their conclusions agreed with the consensus that there needs to be more data surrounding NNS, and the data is pretty inconsistent and inconclusive. However, they did find that NNS was associated with a few inverse health effects, including headaches with depression, Alzheimer's disease, risk of preterm delivery, and behavioral effects. Cardiovascular effects, chronic disease effects, but they also concluded that these inverse health effects were only from a few studies, and there needs to be more research regarding these specific types of health effects in order to make more conclusive claims. Another study of how NNS affects the gut microbiome found that only saccharin and sucralose shift the population to the microbiome, but more human studies need to be done to conclude these effects. The general consensus regarding the safety of NNS in general, especially regarding the microbiome, was that they are shown to cause changes in the gut microbiome, but we haven't been able to tell if these changes are either positive or negative, or if they can really affect people's health. A survey about UK adults' perceptions and knowledge of NNS found that they were most commonly consumed among overweight or obese people. They were most commonly found in beverages and mainly consumed because they have a low caloric content and are easily available and satisfy cravings. Overall, the study found that this high risk perception was also combined with a lack of, there was a high risk perception that people were scared of these NNS and tried to demonize them. However, they also were consuming a lot of them, and found a lack of knowledge amongst consumers. Another study in the Taubab region of Saudi Arabia found that regardless of education level, the population in the Taubab region depends on social media more than any other sources to get information regarding the benefits and safety of artificial sweeteners. While these studies have examined knowledge and perceptions of NNS in various populations, there appears to be limited research specifically on American teenagers, which leads me to my gap. American teenagers are one of the most heavy consumers of social media and are likely to be exposed to marketing and information about NSS. My research serving this demographic will help fill this gap and provide insights into how this influential age group views and understands NNS, which can inform public health education and policy efforts regarding these substitutes. Methodology. So the research method involves an anonymous survey that analyzes perceptions and knowledge about non-nutritive sweeteners. I used the anonymous survey method because, according to researcher Julie Ponto, survey research allows for a variety of methods to recruit participants, collect data, and utilize various methods of instrumentation. You can set your own parameters and be able to analyze data like that. In this survey, NNS were described as artificial sweeteners, and the survey was a Likert scale style survey that ranges possible answers for participants from strongly disagree as a 1 to strongly agree as a 5. It began by asking multiple choice questions, however, about the participants' preference for artificial sweeteners. The questions I chose were modeled after a study researching knowledge and perceptions of non-nutritious sweeteners within the United Kingdom population. The survey was modeled off this example because I found that what we were studying was very similar. They just used a different population, and they also observed some different health effects and different perceptions that I did not choose to explore. The survey, from my experience, was more concise and didn't explore the trust and regulations as much. I used frequencies and correlations to present the main research of my study, and due to my lack of demographic information. These frequencies and correlations included means, standard deviations, and Pearson correlation coefficients. The survey was distributed via a Google form link sent out to teachers and college counselors in an all-male private school. Students were instructed to click on the survey link and begin the survey. It began with a brief definition and should take approximately 5 to 10 minutes to complete. It was distributed to approximately 1,000 students. It also included a consent form that lists what the data is being used for, and that students will only be able to submit one answer. Emails were not collected in this study as well. After 2 to 3 weeks of data collection, the survey closed. Among the surveyed participants, 87.5% said that they do consume artificial sweeteners. This consumption predominantly occurs through soft and fizzy drinks, identified by half the respondents as their main choice, followed by sweet cakes and desserts and chewing gums, and a small 8% would abstain from artificial sweeteners. However, in the initial question, 12.5% of participants indicated that they do not consume artificial sweeteners, meaning that 4.5% of participants switched their answers. I'll come back to this later on. For the study, I used an evaluation metric that listed some responses as being more positive and some responses being more negative, so I could group this into categories and examine correlations. The positive attitude score averaging at 2.91, while the negative attitude score averaged at 3.25. A Pearson's correlation test showed a mild link between the consumption of artificial sweeteners and the positive attitude score, R of 0.171, while the negative attitude score had an R of 0.084. While these are both very weak correlations, the negative attitude score had almost no correlation at all. It is evident from the results that a significant majority of participants incorporate NNS into their diets, primarily through soft drinks. This high prevalence of consumption among participants highlights a significant dietary trend within this demographic. A reason for the most consumed drink being fruit sodas is that the private school soda station mainly consists of diet drinks. For example, Diet Coke, Diet Mountain Dew, and Diet Dr. Pepper, which is why students might be consuming a lot of artificial sweeteners throughout those drinks. This finding does not align with broader consumption patterns observed in the general population, where they are not frequently consumed. This was even more surprising given the demographic, because in a survey conducted in 2017, only 25.1% of children reported consuming artificial sweeteners. They reported this as a significant amount, however, so it can only be assumed that NNS are far more accessible now than they were in 2017 when that study was reported. The criteria for children was 2 to 18, however, so younger populations might not have access to things like diet sodas and gum as easily. Also, the mismatch between the initial claim of non-consumption and the following answers suggests a potential need for more awareness or understanding of what constitutes NNS-containing products, since 4.5% of people switch their answers. The attitudes toward NNS, as quantified through positive and negative scores, revealed mixed results. While there is a slight preference toward negative perceptions, with an average negative score higher than positive score, the overall moderate score in both scales shows a complex view among the students. This could be because of different information received through social media platforms, educational sources, and marketing campaigns. This also aligns with previous research. The correlation between consumption habits toward NNS suggests while some students do acknowledge the benefits of artificial sweeteners, there remains some skepticism about their safety and health implications. The participants expressed considerable concern over the health effects, including the potential to cause weight gain, diabetes, and cancer. The weight gain portion is specifically surprising, as it was relatively high compared to the others with a mean of 3.56. The main purpose of NNS is to be lowering calories and sugar, assisting with weight loss, so it's surprising that people thought they caused weight gain. The data from the study shows that there needs to be more comprehensive education and transparent communication regarding NNS. Students seem to be unsure of the safety of them, but consume them anyways due to being common ingredients in products they consume. Students should be educated on how these products are formed since they have become so common. There is also a need for longitudinal research, longitudinal studies that track the long-term health outcomes associated with NNS consumption. Such studies should aim to locate the dietary habits and health indicators over time to provide more definitive evidence of the benefits or risks of NNS. There were several repetitions of this study that could be further explored in future research. The focus on all male students from a private high school limits the generability of the findings. Also, asking about a participant's body type would be beneficial because the purpose of NNS is to provide a low-calorie option sugar, beneficial to someone trying to lose weight. Participation bias could also occur in the study. A student who is more knowledgeable about NNS could see the title of the study and be more likely to click on it. A study could also explore where students receive their information about NNS from and compare that with how knowledgeable or how they perceive them. And also, an error occurred with the study that 22 participants stated they did not consume NNS, while 14 selected the option that they do not consume NNS in the second point, meaning that 8 people switched their answer. It is possible these 8 people realized that they do not consume artificial sweeteners, but after seeing where they are commonly found, they switched their answer. This study contributes to the broader conversation about the safety and perception of non-nutritious sweeteners by using an under-researched demographic, male American high school students. It showed a large gap between the usage of NNS and their knowledge of them. Students were generally not able to have a confident answer to most of the questions, or had very conflicting responses. All of the means stayed between 2 and 4 on the Likert scale. Given the increased widespread usage of NNS, a common way for students to consume them was through soft and fizzy drinks. This was likely due to just being in products that they already consume regularly, not that they're going to seek out and look for drinks that have artificial sweeteners. In conclusion, the study's emphasis on the need for more comprehensive education about NNS points to a broader imperative for nutritional literacy. Incorporating lessons on understanding food labels, the science behind food additives, and the principles of a balanced diet can help students make informed decisions about their consumption of NNS.